One habit that will change your life. One habit. Just one. Not 100 routines, not a perfect morning, not a dramatic overnight transformation. One habit that, if practiced daily, quietly begins to rebuild your confidence, your clarity, and your courage. People often wait for motivation to arrive like a miracle, but miracles usually happen after discipline, not before it. The life you want is not hiding in luck or waiting for permission. It is responding to the habits you repeat when no one is watching. Most lives don't fall apart because of one big failure. They slowly drift because of small, neglected choices. In the same way, most powerful transformations don't come from one loud decision. They rise from one silent habit practiced consistently. This habit does not demand perfection, strength, or ideal conditions. It only asks for honesty with yourself and commitment to your growth, even on days when you feel tired, unseen, or unsure. The one habit that can change your life is daily intentional self-discipline, choosing what is right for your future over what is easy in the present. From this single habit, everything else begins to shift. Self-discipline builds self-respect. Self-discipline is not about control, pressure, or forcing yourself to suffer. It is about how deeply you value your own word when no one is listening and no one is applauding. Every time you decide to do what you promised yourself, even when your body resists and your mind negotiates, you send a quiet signal inward that you are someone worth believing in. Self-respect is born in these moments, not in achievements, but in obedience to your own intentions. Because a person who cannot trust themselves slowly loses confidence in everything they attempt. When discipline enters your life, excuses slowly begin to leave. Not because life becomes easier, but because you stop allowing comfort to decide your actions. You begin to realize that self-respect does not come from being perfect. It comes from being consistent, even while imperfect. The days you show up tired, unmotivated, and unsure are the days discipline matters the most, because those days are training your identity, shaping how you see yourself, and strengthening the inner voice that says you are capable. Every disciplined action becomes a brick in the foundation of your self-worth. Waking up when you said you would, completing the task you wanted to delay, choosing restraint over reaction, all of these are silent victories that no one celebrates but your soul remembers. Over time, this builds an unshakable inner confidence, not loud or arrogant, but calm and grounded, the kind that does not collapse under pressure because it was built through effort. As self-discipline grows, self-respect deepens. And when you respect yourself, you stop tolerating habits, environments, and people that drain your energy. You begin to protect your time, your focus, and your dreams with seriousness. Because you finally understand that discipline is not restriction, it is freedom earned through responsibility. Consistency defeats motivation. Motivation is powerful but unreliable. It rises and falls with emotions, circumstances, and external validation. Consistency, however, does not wait for the right feeling. It moves forward even when the heart feels heavy and the mind feels tired. Life-changing progress does not come from bursts of inspiration. It comes from repeated actions done long after excitement has faded and applause has stopped. There will be days when you feel inspired and unstoppable. And those days feel beautiful, but they are not what builds success. The real transformation happens on ordinary days, when nothing exciting happens and no one notices your effort. Consistency teaches you to show up anyway, to work quietly, to stay committed when quitting feels easier. And this quiet commitment compounds into powerful results over time. Each consistent action strengthens discipline like a muscle, making future effort easier and doubt weaker. You begin to understand that you do not need to feel ready to act. You only need to act to become ready. Consistency removes dependence on mood and replaces it with structure, allowing growth to continue regardless of emotional weather or external chaos. As consistency becomes your habit, progress becomes inevitable. Small steps taken daily begin to outrun big plans taken rarely. This is how average beginnings turn into extraordinary outcomes, not through intensity but through persistence that refuses to stop moving forward. Discipline turns pain into power. Pain is unavoidable, but direction is a choice. Discipline gives pain a purpose instead of letting it become poison. When life disappoints you, discipline teaches you to respond with growth rather than destruction. Instead of escaping pain through comfort, you learn to channel it into effort, learning, and resilience, transforming suffering into strength. Without discipline, pain controls reactions, causing emotional decisions that delay healing and deepen wounds. With discipline, pain becomes information, a teacher that sharpens awareness and strengthens boundaries. You begin to pause instead of explode, to reflect instead of collapse, and to move forward even while carrying emotional weight. Discipline allows you to sit with discomfort without being consumed by it. It trains you to endure temporary pain for long-term peace. Whether it is emotional hurt, failure, rejection, or self-doubt, discipline helps you process pain productively rather than letting it define your identity or future. Over time, this habit builds an inner power that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. You no longer fear pain because you know how to use it. Discipline transforms wounds into wisdom and struggle into structure, allowing you to rise stronger without becoming bitter. Small actions create massive identity. Shifts life rarely changes in loud, dramatic moments. It transforms in silence through behaviors repeated when no one is watching and no one is clapping. Small actions often feel meaningless because they do not produce instant results. But identity is never built instantly. It is shaped slowly, decision by decision, habit by habit, until one day you realize you are no longer the same person you used to be. Discipline teaches you to respect these small actions, to understand that what feels insignificant today is shaping who you will trust yourself to be tomorrow. Every time you choose a disciplined action, no matter how small, you are casting a vote for the person you are becoming. Reading a few pages instead of scrolling, choosing patience instead of reaction, choosing effort instead of delay. These moments may not change your circumstances immediately, but they change your self-image. Over time, the mind begins to associate you with follow-through, responsibility, and growth. And this quiet shift in identity becomes more powerful than any external motivation. As these actions repeat, something deeper changes. You stop relying on inspiration and start relying on structure. You no longer ask yourself if you feel like doing the work. You simply do it because that is who you are becoming. Confidence begins to grow, not because everything is working out perfectly, but because you know you can be trusted with your own commitments. This inner reliability creates emotional stability and resilience, allowing you to stay grounded even when results are slow or invisible. Eventually, these small disciplined choices redefine your standards. You raise the bar for how you treat your time, your energy, and your potential. You stop negotiating with habits that keep you stuck and start honoring behaviors that move you forward. Identity shifts are not announced, they are lived quietly, proven daily, and felt deeply. This is how small actions, repeated with intention, reshape character, rewrite self-belief, and build a version of you that is strong enough to carry the life you are working toward. Discipline aligns you with your future self. Every disciplined choice is a conversation with your future self, a quiet promise that you will not abandon who you are becoming for the comfort of who you are today. Most people dream about a better future but live in ways that contradict it, creating a gap between desire and reality that slowly breeds frustration. Discipline closes this gap by teaching you to act with long-term awareness, to make decisions that honor where you want to be, rather than how you feel in the moment. When discipline becomes part of your daily life, you stop living only for immediate relief and begin living with intention. You start protecting your energy, your time, and your focus because you understand they are investments, not resources to waste. Skipping comfort, delaying gratification, and choosing effort begin to feel meaningful because each action is shaping a future that feels more aligned, more stable, and more authentic to who you want to become. This alignment changes how you see yourself. You no longer feel divided between your goals and your habits. They begin to move in the same direction. Doubt loses its grip because your actions are constantly proving your commitment. Even on difficult days, there is a sense of inner peace, not because life is easy, but because you are no longer betraying your own potential. Discipline turns hope into behavior and dreams into daily responsibility. Over time, your future self stops feeling distant or unrealistic. It starts to feel familiar, achievable, and real because you are practicing becoming that person every single day. Discipline removes the illusion of shortcuts and replaces it with trust in process. It allows growth to happen steadily, quietly, and sustainably. This is how discipline aligns intention with action, present effort with future reward, and transforms possibility into lived reality. In the end, one habit practiced daily has the power to rebuild a life from the inside out. Self-discipline does not demand perfection, strength, or flawless days. It asks for honesty, responsibility, and the courage to choose growth over comfort again and again. When discipline becomes consistent, it reshapes identity, strengthens self-respect, and creates alignment between effort and purpose. Quiet actions, repeated with intention, begin to compound into clarity, confidence, and inner stability. Even when external results take time to appear, the life you desire is not created by wishing harder, but by living more deliberately. Every disciplined choice is a step away from excuses and a step towards self-trust. When you commit to this one habit, you stop waiting to become ready and start becoming reliable. Over time, discipline transforms struggle into structure and intention into reality, allowing you to carry success with strength, humility, and peace.